Hello, this is my third video in my video series of how I recovered from fibromyalgia. Each of my videos have been broken down in two parts, part 1 and part 2. This video is about the reprocessing step, the third step that I did to recover from chronic pain and chronic fatigue. If you haven't seen my other videos, I would check them out, they're on my channel. Okay, so why did I do reprocessing? What is it? Where did it come about? So I remember telling my nutritionist, so I had her to help me with my food intake because I was struggling with stomach issues, so I had IBS at the time. And I told her, you can't believe it, I've just been diagnosed with something else now, and it's just taken me off my feet completely. It's awful. And I told her I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and she said, oh, my daughter had fibromyalgia. And I said, what do you mean she had fibromyalgia? I've been told you can't recover from it, you can't cure it, it's untreatable. So what do you mean she had fibromyalgia? She said, you should see her now, she got better. And I just couldn't understand because it was so different to what the doctors had told me. So I asked her what she did, and she said, well, the first thing she did was she referred her to a psychotherapist that specialised in trauma and used the techniques of EMDR and CBT. I remember thinking at the time, I'm in pain and I can't move. I can't do any part of my life. I don't understand how a therapist is going to help me in any way. But I just went with it, waited a few months for my referral, and then I got in. In my appointments, we worked through like my life events. And what I mean by that is we had to really sit down and rummage around my brain almost to search for adverse life events where they had been registered as trauma in my body. And to be honest, I was like, okay, I can think of a few things that I can imagine being traumatic, but the therapist said that no, you've actually got to work through the techniques that she had proposed to find them, because actually what you think could be traumatic might not be, and things that you hadn't even thought of as traumatic might be registered in your body as trauma. Same goes for positive life events. So a lot of people have reported as developing fibromyalgia before starting a new job or having a wedding coming up that they were excited for, so that's something to bear in mind. We worked through my life events, major things that happened to me, almost like dotting a timeline, and it was almost going into a sort of hypnosis or a trance effect to find those moments. Once we'd pinpointed those moments, we delved deeper, and to be honest, I hated it because things that were really difficult, things that I'd put in a box and buried to the back of my mind, I now had to not just bring forward, but I had to go in them and relive them all over again. The point of it was that you would take notice of the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings that would come up once you were reliving that memory, and you would also take note of the effect it was having on your body, so basically just what was coming up for you. Then we would pick that apart depending on what was needed, and what we would also do is once we'd got almost like the negativity out, we would then insert and reprocess that memory by putting in new thoughts, new feelings, new emotions. So it's almost like going into a memory and changing it, I think, because what happens is oftentimes when we go through things in life, especially if you went through them during your childhood, you are not equipped to go through those things, and what happens is you incorrectly process them because that's the best that you could do in that moment. I mean, your brain doesn't fully mature until the age of 25, so of course from a biological level you're not ever going to be equipped to deal with anything so major. I would say I did it for about 6 months weekly. It will depend on the person. It could take you a lot shorter, it could take you a lot longer. So the outcome of it, at the time I didn't think like it was working. I couldn't tell what was working straight away, but I did notice these things. So I noticed that my nightmares stopped. That was a major thing. I didn't realise how much I'd struggled with nightmares my entire life until they stopped. So I was sleeping better, which was great. I didn't realise how much I was living in the past. I didn't realise how much my brain flicked so much to past events during my present moment. So when that stopped, I realised I wasn't living so much in the past anymore, and actually I was more sort of connected and feeling a lot calmer with the people around me, the environment around me. I was here now, I was grounded, which was nice. So I got that general sense of peace, which was really, really good. It was, yeah, it really brought me to a good place. The other thing that I noticed was that when I did think of now when I think of those past things that I worked through, nothing comes up in my body. Like, it's just almost a memory that has no sort of discomfort or stress related to it. And I can only imagine, like, if I think about it now, I was carrying so much stress with me every single day, and to finally unburden myself from it, that is a good thing. What I've told you so far is enough to get started. I would recommend getting professional help. I would recommend getting a psychotherapist that specialises in trauma to get you started. Either way, even just talking therapy or any sort of therapist can help you with your journey. Let them know that you want to work through a timeline of your life events that could have potentially been quite stressful or traumatic, and you want to work through them now. In my next video, I'm going to tell you, part 2, how all this links to fibromyalgia. This last video will link it all together, and honestly, it will blow your mind. When I pieced it all together, using my experiences, my research, my theory, I was blown away. And I realised that if this is actually true, then we have some work to do, because actually this is good news, because we can do something about it. I think a lot of people can get their lives back, just like how I did. I literally tell you what I did to get better in these video series, and I am so sure that they are going to help you as well. And if you want even more help, I post self-care tips, things that I did and learned along my journey, all for free on TikTok, on YouTube, YouTube Shorts, and on Instagram. All there, just give me a follow. Thank you for listening. See you soon.